Hello and welcome to Tricks of the Straight channel. Today is the 13th of January 2018, even though we are not officially in the year 2018 yet. But since the Vatican says that this is 2018, we just have to accept that it's 2018. If you want to know all about all that information about, when the year actually starts and ends, we put all this information in the book. And because the Vatican is trying to shut us down, we advise that you should send us an email with the subject book if you're interested in the book, so that when the book is ready, which hopefully we think should be by the end of January this year, and then we can actually send you an email and tell you the cost of the book and the cost of shipping so that you can get all that information. The book is going to contain so much information. It's going to make you understand your world clearly and what's really going on. It's going to give you a brief synopsis, of the creation of this world from inception, from Genesis to where we are right now. So we advise that you should send us an email, first of all, because we want to get the book into your hands in case the Vatican shuts the channel down, because they don't like the fact that we're telling truth. And also because we're working on our website and so many other projects that are coming down the pipeline, so that in case the Vatican shuts us down, when the project is live and up, for example, we're working on a website, we're working on some movies, we can send you an email and tell you, okay, here's the website for you to go, and watch all your videos, or how to watch the movies, because hopefully we are planning and thinking of making the movies actually free. We don't know if it's going to be free or not, because there are so many things that are in play with the people that we are working with to make these movies possible. It's going to be like a Hollywood blockbuster, independent budget. But you guys will never ever imagine that such good movies could be made by independent movie makers. So we said all that because today's feature is about Justin Trudeau. Now we have a video on Sophie Trudeau. Justin Trudeau is the Prime Minister of Canada. So he's much more like the President of Canada, which is just a next door neighbor to the United States. On that video of Sophie Trudeau that we had taken a look at Justin Trudeau and said that we kind of find that he looks, very suspicious, but we were not going to say anything about him until we carry out a proper investigation of Justin Trudeau, and that if we find something that tells us that he's not the sex that he claims and the gender he claims, then we'll come out and make a video, and this is the video today. So today's video is about Justin Trudeau. We're going to look into see who Justin Trudeau is. Now, if it's your first time on our channel, if you heard all this and you want to keep watching the video, all right, this is the point in time we advise that you pause the video right here and go look for the primer video, because without you watching the primer video, a lot of the things that you're saying is not going to make any sense to you at all. So you have to watch the primer video first before you can continue watching this video. So let's show you how to get to the primer video before, so you can go watch that, and then when you're done, if you're a new subscriber, then you're done, then you can come back and continue watching the Justin Trudeau video. So let's do that. So the primer video is going to be the oldest video on this channel. It also has a playlist called Primer. So if you're a new subscriber, this is the very first video that you should watch. It's the most important video on this channel that you have to watch. So when you click on the primer video or any other video that we have on this channel, there is a link in the description section. The link in the description section is going to lead you to a document. The document is going to be called Male versus Female Visual Differences. We advise that you study this document because a lot of the stuff that's happening in our world, I mean, if you want to get real knowledge from our world, you have to study, because TVs and media, the internet, look, let me just leave the internet out. The TV, all right, and your schools or your, let's say, the educational system, or where you get your information from, doesn't really give you so much truth. You just have to study and make a discernment to determine what's real and what's not, because there is so much disinformation and misinformation in all around you, especially on TV. Like, for example, today the news on the TV says that there was some sort of like a fake ballistic strike missile against Hawaii, the island of Hawaii, which is a U.S. island technically, and a false alert was ringing out in Hawaii and got the people so scared. So this is how the elite play mind games with the people, by putting out that kind of information. Because if you're not trying to make people scared, you should even put that information on the news, because regular folk who, look at that are going to be so scared and say, oh, so actually North Korea is going to fire a missile at the United States, and they start living in fear and panic, which is the whole idea of that news in the first place. Because if you turn on your TV, you'll see that everywhere, be it CNN, MSNBC, and all that stuff. But the truth is, there is no such thing as a nuclear weapons in this world. That's also a facade or a lie, whatever you want to call it. There's no such thing. We've put all this information in a book so you can be able to navigate your way, to be able to discern what's real and what's not. So that's why we advise you that if you're interested in the book, we hopefully think that everybody should get the book, when it comes out. It will help to, make sense of your world for you. So you're not going to be running around scared. So that whenever the elite, which is the Vatican, put out all this kind of information and news on the TV, and people start getting scared and having their hands in their heart because they heard that, North Korea fired a ballistic missile, which was false in the first place. But the news keeps on saying that, you won't be living in fear your whole entire life. Because remember, the very words of Yehoshua said, you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. He did not say set you free. He said it will make you free. That's what it says in the King James Bible. Make you free, not set you free. There's a difference between making someone free and setting them free. If someone set free, that means you were in prison. But made free means that you came out of this world free, so nobody can put you in bondage. And so that's what a book aims to show you, to make you understand your world from start to finish, so you're totally and completely free. So if you're interested in the book, like we said, the Vatican is trying to shut us down because we are telling so much truth. They put a strike on our account for the video that we had on Selena Q, because we exposed the fact that Selena Q, who is a legend in the Hispanic world in Tejano music, was actually a dude. If you're interested in watching that video on Selena Q, in which the Vatican laid a strike on her account, look for the Who is Bono video. Who is Bono? In that video, we give you the directions and instructions on how to watch the Selena Q video. So, like I was saying all that, this is the document that advises that everybody should study if you're a new subscriber, so that you can understand the visual differences between male and female, because it's very pertinent that you do understand that, because this is part of the deception that's going on in the world. Like the person we're going to be looking at today to find out if he's the gender that he claims in Justin Trudeau. If you don't study this or maybe study this particular document and watch how we do the transvestigation, then you'll not be able to know the differences between male and female, and you'll keep on being deceived, because there's a reason why all these transgenders are put in front of your TV. All right, and we make you understand all that in the book, which we advise that you send us an email if you're interested in the book, with the title of the email being book. Email is the same as the channel name at gmail.com. You can actually see even the email address right here on the screen as I'm moving over my mouse. That's the email address right there. So let's get into dive into this document so we can show you the visual difference between male and female, so we can jump on Justin Trudeau. Here's the female to our left. As you can see, she has an arch in the back. Now, why does a female have an arch in the back? A C-shaped arch in the back, one S-shaped arch in the back, depending on where you draw it from. The reason is because the pelvis of a female is tilted forward. Now, why is the pelvis of a female tilted forward? The pelvis of the female is tilted forward so that a baby at conception can stay inside the womb and pelvic region. If the pelvis was straight, the baby would fall, sorry to say, will drop right out of the womb, and a woman would always be having miscarriages. So that's why the pelvis of a woman is tilted forward. Now, depending on where you draw the arch in the female's back, it's going to form a C-shaped arch if you draw it just from below the shoulder blades. But if you draw it from higher up, let's say above the shoulder blades, it's going to form an S-shaped spine. All right. So a female always has an arch in the back because the pelvis is tilted forward, number one. Number two, the arch is extra support for the weight of carrying pregnancy, so that she doesn't have any problems stumbling over or walking when she has the baby. And also the arch is because the female spine is much more flexible than that of a man. Now, with a man, males do not have any arch in their back. Males have a straight back up and down because they do not get pregnant. All right. So if a man's back wants to arch, it's going to arch outwards. A female's back arches inwards. So the shape of a man's back comes in a flat back or straight back, or it can be shaped like a P, in which this area just behind the shoulder blades comes out, and then as it and then it straightens out into the pelvis to form like a P. As you can see right here, I can try to form a P with my mouse here, or a D. That's how the back of a man is shaped like a D or a P. So if a man tries to fake an arch in his back, he's going to form some weird kind of L angle in his back. It's not going to be like a C-shaped arch that you find in a female's back. So I want you guys to note that. So I'm going to scroll into the document just to show you how that C-shaped arch in the back looks like for females. And here is a woman. Oh, sorry, my internet is a little slow. So here is a woman right here. As you can see, she has an arch in her back and she's kneeling down. That arch just shows the mole in her back, because the arch is because it's necessary for a female to have that arch to support the weight of childbearing. Now, it doesn't matter what color, all right, or ethnicity the woman comes in, or the texture of her hair. All females have an arch in the back. Some can be subtle and some can be so pronounced. So you have to be looking at that just to see the subtleties or the subtleness of the arches in the back. Now I'm scrolling to the document just to show you that it doesn't matter the size of the female, because some people think that if a female is big or small that she may not have an arch in the back. All females have an arch in the back. Without the arch in the back, a woman can get pregnant and carry children successfully to term fulfillment. So as you can see right here, here is a big female to my left. She has an arch in the back and her pelvis is tilted forward. A small female to my right, she has an arch in the back and her pelvis is tilted forward. It doesn't matter if the female's got muscles. You know, any form of steroids that you take is not gonna change the skeletal structure, because this is one thing you people have to understand. The skeletal structure determines the sex, and not the genitals that determines the sex. Is the skeletal structure. So it's like building a house. If you don't have the if you say, let's say you build the framework for let's say a condo unit that's a story building, all right, you can't fit in a flat or a bungalow on that kind of structure. I hope that makes sense. It's just like building the structure for a skyscraper and trying to fit like let's say some sort of like maybe one-story building inside. It's not gonna work. So it's the structure that determines the sex. That means the skeletal structure determines the sex of the person. So that's why, for example, when people die, people are able to, you know, find out the sex of the person from the bones, because the bones shows you if the person was male or female. And all that skeletal difference lies in the pelvis, which is the number one, let's say, is the number one factor that is used to distinguish the sexes, because everything else in our body is almost identical, but when it comes to the pelvis is made differently. So that's why a female has that arch in her back, because she needs it for childbirth. So as you can see right here is a muscular female, and she has an arch in her back. Another muscular female arch in the back. No amount of drugs can change the skeletal structure. Once the skeletal structure has been determined at conception, it doesn't matter surgery or the drugs you take, it will never change. For example, the hips of a female are below her crotch. That is never going to change. The hips of a male are above his crotch. Now, why are the hips of a man above his crotch and the hips of a female below? Is because of how the reproductive organs function. So for males, the reproductive organs needs to be outside the body, all right, to function below body temperature. So where the hips are determines where the end of the body is for each person. So for men, the hips are above the crotch, because that's the end of the body, so that the genitals, all right, can be outside the body temperature to function optimally. Now for females, okay, the hips are below the crotch, because that's where the body actually ends. And the hips are below the crotch so they don't interfere with childbirth. Because if a female had, let's say, her hips above the crotch as a man, when she's trying to give birth, because that's not the end of her body, she would have problems with pushing out the baby. Okay? So the hips of a female are below the crotch so that it doesn't interfere with anything that has to do with the childbirth. So I want you guys to remember that. So now let's jump into a short video clip just to show you where that hip location is at, so we can continue into the transvestigation of Justin Trudeau. And I have some interesting questions that I want to ask the public today when we're transvestigating Justin Trudeau. So let's do that. So here is a clip of a female, and this is how our regular females look. Now, I want you guys to understand there is no such thing as a shoulder to hip ratio, because there is some channels out there which tell you that the shoulders of a woman, if they are wider than her hips, that means that she's male. Females can have their shoulders wider than their hips. It doesn't change the location. The question you should ask is the location of the hip. Where is the location of that hip on the female? Location of the female hip is always going to be below the crotch. For a man, it's going to be above the crotch. So in this particular picture that you're looking at, here is a regular female, and you can see this is the female indentation point or female waist point. And this is where the elbows of a woman usually are. Now, the arms of a woman always follow the contours of the body. So, for example, if this female put her hands down, her hands would be shaped in such a way as this body is. That means the arms would bend like that and follow the contours of the body, also following the hourglass figure that a woman has. Okay, so with regular females, they start spreading from underneath their elbows, and the widest point is always going to be below the crotch for a woman. Okay, so that's what usually happens for every female. So now this female, we're just gonna play the clip so you can see where the tape goes around on this particular lady right here. And as you can see, it is below the crotch, below, not above it, because that's where the location of the hip of a female is at. This is how a female gets fit into clothes, her pants, or whatever she wants to wear. All right. This is where the location of the hip is at. If this location wasn't known, the clothes that are sewn for females and that are in all the stores would be having a problem. Females wouldn't be able to fit because the female hip would be, the female clothes would have varying places for the hip, and they wouldn't fit. So, but the world knows that the female hip is below the crotch. So this female is going to turn around so you can see exactly where that hip is at from the back. The reason why I show you this clip also is because sometimes people get confused about, determining if you're looking at a female or a male when you're looking at the person from the front because of the Q angle. So usually if you look at a woman from the back, if a woman's walking past you and you see her from the back, you're going to know that's a woman, right? So if you're trying to do a transvestigation and you come up short, try to see if you can find a picture of the person from the back, because it's going to show glaringly that it's either male or female. So the location of the female hip is always going to be below the crotch, but slightly above the bum line. If this was male, this location of the hip would be farther up away from this bum line, right inside the body. So, and also, one thing also you should notice that the Q angle of a female is very, very acute. What is the Q angle? The Q angle is the angle between the hip and the knee. For females, that Q angle is very, very acute because that's what makes you see that hourglass figure of female, and it's always going to be below the crotch. The Q angle of a male starts above his crotch. So I want you to remember that difference. So let's move on now and get into the transvestigation of Justin Trudeau proper. So before I get into the transvestigation of Justin Trudeau, I've said this in a couple of videos already, that you should please subscribe to the backup channel for Tricks of the S-Trade 2. You can see right here I'm hovering my mouse over the screen. So all you need to do is just type in Google Tricks of the S-Trade 2 and you find the channel and you can subscribe to it. We want you to subscribe just in case, because we never know, the Vatican can shut us down at any point in time for telling you the truth. So you subscribe to this backup channel so that we can reach out to you and give you some more information, because what we're trying to do especially is get the book across to you, because the book will contain all the information that you need, such that if the Vatican shuts us down, it doesn't really matter, you have the book. And also, secondly, when you send us an email, all right, we have you in our contact list, so we can let you know when our website, which is under construction, is ready, so you can move over. And we can also let you know of other things on the website, as well as giving you information when the movies that we are trying to make comes out, which is going to show you a clear depiction of this world and what's inside of it, even though we put all that information in the book. So if you're interested, send us an email with the title book. And we'll email you first of all when the book is ready, because the book is printed, according to order. It's going to be printed to the number of orders or number of emails that we have, because we don't want to waste the time putting this book together and going to the publisher and printing it and having just excess inventory laying around because nobody needs it. So that's why we encourage you to send us an email if you're interested in the book, so we can go, all right, to the publisher and say, okay, this is the number of copies we have, and then we're gonna email you first and tell you the cost of the book and the cost to get it to you before we make a video, if we're still on, if the Vatican hasn't shut us down by that time, and let the public know, okay, the book is officially out now, so you can order. So we'll first of all give the people who email us a chance to buy the book, all right? We might wait out like maybe a week and see if all the people who wanted the book through email actually still want it, before we make a video to say, okay, the book is now ready. We'll probably let you know all that information on the backup channel as well. So please subscribe to this backup channel, because the Vatican is hard at work trying to shut us down. Like right here, they gave us a strike on account for saying that we showed nudity on the Selena Q video. The Selena Q video had no nudity whatsoever, of shape or form. But like I've always said before, the Vatican can shut you down for anything. They have what they call, they say public agitation on their Protocols of Zion script, which they use to run the world. The Protocols of Zion was a script written by the Vatican, but they just put the word Zion there to throw people off course, to always think that the Jews are the problem of this world, when the Vatican owns and created the modern day Jews that you see in Israel today. So they put a strike on account, and they can shut us down at any time. So that's why we're trying as much as possible to get all the information that we can across to you in case they shut us down. We're only interested in letting you know the truth so that the minds of people can be free. So, okay, let's move on to the transvestigation of Justin Trudeau now. Now, before we get into the Justin Trudeau video, this is the part that I have to put out warnings on our channel. A channel is a different kind of channel. We do not appreciate, we have zero tolerance for slander. So you just can't come up to the channel and say someone is a transgender without providing facts. And your facts have to be based on the female skeletal structure in links of pictures showing that the person has or does not have hips below the crotch, an arch in the back, a wide pubic arch, and a pelvis that's tilted forward as your facts. So if you say someone is a transgender without supplying those facts, we're going to block you in the comment section from making any other comments on the channel. We do not appreciate slander, because we don't want somebody talking about us without having facts. So if you want to label someone as a thief, all right, you have to come up with facts that the person is a thief. Otherwise, that's constitute to slander. So there's no slandering allowed. So you can't provide frivolous facts such as like the person has long arms, long torsos, long ring or index fingers, has a strong jawline, looks like a woman, looks like a man, has a slanting forehead, brow bossing, has an Adam's apple, has Adonis belts, and all those frivolous facts that have nothing to do with childbirth, because the only difference between males and females is that the female can give birth and the males cannot. That's the only difference. So it doesn't matter if the person has an Adam's apple, long arms, torso, Adonis belts. As long as the person has the skeletal structure to give birth, then the person is considered female. That's the way normal thinking should be, logical thinking. So your facts have to contain and show that the person has, you have to supply links of pictures of that person that you're saying is a transgender, showing that the person has or does not have hips below the crotch, an arch in the back, a pelvis that's tilted forward, and a wide pubic arch. Otherwise, your comments are going to be blocked, and you will be asked to unsubscribe to the channel, because we do not appreciate any slandering. And you just can supply also Google pictures, a whole search of Google pictures results, as your evidence. And you also can supply a link of a video that somebody else made as your evidence. That's not facts on this channel. You still get blocked for that. So I want you guys to remember that. So as usual, the Vatican is the one responsible for everything that's going on in your world. They're the ones responsible for putting the transgenders that you see on your TV and spheres of influence in life. And there's a reason for it. I've talked about it before, that this is a form of sacrifice, and we'll let you know all that useful information on what the sacrifice really is in the book. So if you're interested in the book, send us an email at tricksofthestrade@gmail.com with the title book, so we can put you on the email list and print the book because you send us an email and say, okay, this is the estimated number of copies we think we are going to be printing for the number of emails that we've received. Okay, so the Vatican is the one responsible for your world. And as usual, we are not against transgenders in any shape or form. If Miss Justin Trudeau, that we're transvestigating today, all right, happens to be, or if he came out and said he was a transgender, this video would go down the very, very next minute, because we want people, all right, we are only exposing people, rather, that are telling us lies about their gender and not upfront with it. So that's all what we're doing. So if you're trans, if you want to be a transgender, that's your thing. God judges you. I have nothing against you. That's between you and God. But don't you try to push down your transgenderism and make me to accept you forcefully, because that's what's going on right now in the world. We are forcefully being fed to accept transgenders when we're not being allowed to make that choice if we want to accept one or not. But we have no problems with you being a transgender. If you've reached that age, you're an adult, all right, and someone didn't force you to do it, go ahead. That's your business. That's between you and God, all right? Okay? But if what we are showing here is the people who are lying about their genders, and secondly, also showing the people who are responsible for making them to be transgenders, taking these young children from a young age, all right, and forcing them to live in a sex and gender that's different from the sex and gender they were born with. For example, in Justin Trudeau. Every time I say that, I don't know, I get some sort of annoyance and my voice just starts shaking. It's like, I don't know. So let's get into the video of Justin Trudeau, or sorry, the transvestigation of Justin Trudeau now. So here is a picture of Justin Trudeau, one of the first pictures. I want you to notice what I just talked about before, that for a female, if you're a female, your arms will follow the contours of the body, showing that hourglass figure that you have. And this is what Justin Trudeau's arms are doing right here. As you can see, he has that hourglass figure, and you can see right from underneath the elbows, there's an hourglass figure, and he starts spreading and getting wider and wider and wider and wider. And the Q angle, or the hip, where the location of the hip is below the crotch. Now, don't you mind what the jeans is trying to portray here as this is his crotch. That's not his crotch. It's just long clothing to cover up the fact that you're looking at a female right here who's been masquerading around as a male for way too long, because his crotch actually ends here, and this is where you see that Q angle right there. Let me try to blow that up so you can see it very clearly. So that is where the Q angle is right there. That's where his hip is at, because Justin Trudeau is 100% female. Now, the question I want to ask is this, because this is the first time, this is the second time rather, that we're seeing couples that have been reversed. The first couple that we've seen that have been reversed in their genders was Serena Williams and Alexis Ohanian, who just got married, let's say, a couple of months or weeks ago in the year 2017. Now, this is the second time that we're seeing this, in the fact that Sophie Trudeau, whom we have a video on, is a transgendered woman. And that Justin Trudeau here, who's the Prime Minister of Canada, is also transgender. The second reverse couple that we find since we started showing transvestigation. So the question now we need to ask is this: if the Vatican has succeeded, in reversing the roles of the gender of people in office to the point that they're the president or the prime minister of their country, we would like to know, this is just a question we want to pose to the public, who else do you think is being reversed as the president of a country, besides the fact that we've covered David Cameron, who's just transgender, who was the prime minister of Britain, and we also covered what's this man's name, the current president of France, Emmanuel Macron, I think. Emmanuel Macron, we've covered that as well. So the question is this: Canada is very close to the United States. So is it possible that in the United States history that we've had a transgender as a president without our knowledge? So that's the question that we're posing. So I want you guys to bring up suggestions or look at the past presidents that we have had and find out, is it possible that one of them amongst those line of presidents have been transgendered. And also, let's try to ask the question, because if this has been made possible in Canada, France, and Great Britain, that they have transgendered people, right, put in front of us, put in front of us as males being presidents of those countries, which other countries have this kind of phenomenon in which the presidents or leading people are transgender? So that's more like the question. So I want you guys to answer that so we can find out for real what's going on. So let's move on now. So let's move on to the next picture of Justin Trudeau. And here's Justin Trudeau with a man, all right? A man by the side. Now, I want you to take a very good look at this particular pictures to see the difference between males and females here. Because if you notice, this is a man right here. And what do you notice about the size of this man's head? They're the same ethnicity, so we can measure the size here. This is just secondary characteristics on how to determine the difference between the genders, because we do not advise anybody to be using this all the time. If you haven't identified the primary characteristics of the hips, of the pelvic region first, and the arch in the back, then you just can't use this. We just throw this in as an extra because, like I've said before, anything that the long arms, long torsos, ring index fingers, Adam's apples, or Donny's belts have nothing to do with childbirth. The reason why you can't use that to identify a gender is because there is so much hormones being fed to us in our food, all right, and water, so that the genetic characteristics that males have only and females have only have become intertwined, all right? So you can use that. So the only way to determine the sex and gender of a person is by looking at the skeletal structure and not all the secondary male or female characteristics that we have, all right? So what you're looking at here, right here, is that you can see that Justin Trudeau, from above his navel, starts spreading in this cloth that he's wearing. This he's trying to cover up his hips with this cloth, because there's a reason why he's dressed the way he is. Because if you can see right here, this man is wearing regular, briefs, and he's wearing shorts, and Justin Trudeau is wearing shorts. I've explained before in the video that one of the tricks, one of the greatest way to tell a lie is to superimpose a lie on the truth. So because technically this is how the Vatican gives us cognitive dissonance. You're looking at a man to your right. So because you've seen a man right here, you technically assume that the one on your left is also a man. They mix the truth right here with a lie. So anybody looking at this will say Justin Trudeau is a man because you saw a man right here. But here is the trick in what you're trying to, what you're covering up, so you guys don't actually notice the difference. Justin Trudeau's trunks are covering up the hips because you can see how huge that he starts spreading from above his navel, and he gets wider and wider and wider in this trunks that he's wearing, right? And you can see that if you compare both their bodies, all right, even though Justin Trudeau is slightly taller, you will see that the navel of Justin Trudeau is far inside the torso of the body, while this man's own is far downwards, okay? Because with a female, the torso of a female, the belly button is going to be far inwards into the body, while a man's own is going to be much more downwards towards the torso of the body. But all the same, I just wanted you to know the difference, that Justin Trudeau right here is spreading from above his navel, and he gets wider up to this point, which is where his hips is at, because he's actually female and not a man. He's masquerading around as one. So let's go over to the next picture. And here is Justin Trudeau. And I mean, this is, they say a picture tells 1,000 words. You can actually see that this is a woman walking down the street, right? Can you see the way the Q angle is and the walk? Let me reduce the picture so you can see it full screen. Can you see that walk and that smile and the Q angle right here? Because this is a woman. And Sophie Trudeau here, the so-called wife, is a male. We've actually had a video on him rather. So you can go and look for the video on Sophie Trudeau on the channel. Just scan through the video list and you'll find it. All right, so let's move on to the next picture. And here is Justin Trudeau again. As you can see, the Q angle doesn't lie. It is below the crotch because he's 100% female masquerading around as a male, and is the current Prime Minister of Canada. So I really wonder what the Canadian people have in stock for them, that they have two reverse genders in their office. The closest we've had to the United States, that's why I'm still posting that question, is in Michelle Obama, who's actually a dude. So and that was like last let's say the last term before Donald Trump. So that's why I'm asking the question: is it possible that we've had a female president masquerading as a male in the United States? And if you're in any other place in the world, it's just a question to you: do you think you've had anybody who's been in office that is not the gender they claim? Is a question. So bring up questions, or bring up names, and please don't leave the name in the comment section. Send me an email, because I don't want you slandering anybody. Send me an email rather. My email is the same as the channel name at gmail.com. So if you're asking the question I'm asking, you're supposed to send me an email. If you leave it in the comment section, that constitutes slander if you don't have any evidence. So possible names, send me an email and let's look into it. Let's move on to the next picture of Justin Trudeau right here. Okay. Here is Justin Trudeau sitting with the current president of the United States, Donald. Sits because he sits like a female. You can still see this Q angle right here, which is below the crotch showing. You can see how curvy the hips are, or the curvy the thighs are, and sitting like a woman, because usually a woman is always going to be aware that she needs to sit with her legs closed like this, and this is what Justin Trudeau is doing. As you can see, Donald Trump is a man. He's just spreading him like a man usually does, right? Feeling free. So I just wanted to show you that little difference, and let's move on to the next picture. We already showed you this picture in Justin Trudeau in the Vatican trying to superimpose Justin Trudeau onto us as a male when he's actually female. I just wanted to take you, just wanted you to take a look at the smile on the face and the way he holds his hands. That's actually a woman standing. All right, another picture of Justin Trudeau. The hips do not lie. The Q angle is below the crotch. Below the crotch, not above it, because he's 100% female, and you can see that the arms are following the contours of the body, because Justin Trudeau is 100% woman. Another picture of Justin Trudeau, and this is just like clear as night and day. I could stop the video right here because I didn't need to say anything or show you anything anymore. This is a woman masquerading around as a man. As you can see, that fine hourglass figure that he has as he's spreading wider, and the widest point right here is below the crotch from where the Q angle starts. And you can see how acute that Q angle is, because Justin Trudeau is 100% female. I can leave this picture for you guys just to marinate on it for a second, because you're looking at a woman. All right. Let's go to another picture, and here's Justin Trudeau wearing a skirt. And I just wanted you to notice, because when females stand, when a female puts her hand on her waist, she's going to put it just above her navel. And from this point that we're looking at and how Justin Trudeau is placing those hands, that's how a female stands. All right? All right? Because the navel is right around here, and his hands are at the waist point. As you can see that the clothes that he's wearing are following the contours of the body and showing where his waist is at. And this is a woman, 100%. You can still see the tilt of the pelvis right here, that curvy belly that females have. That's what Justin Trudeau has, because he's 100% female and was never a man in the first place. Next picture. Alright, so here's another picture. We just wanted to show you that the Q angle is still below the crotch, and from the way he walks, you can tell that that's a woman walking, because that's how females walk. And why do females walk the way they walk is because the pubic arch of a female is wider. The pubic arch is the space in between your thighs, or in space in between your crotch, alright? For females, it's 120 degrees or more, so that a baby can come out of the pelvic region. For males, it's 90 degrees or less. So because of the wide pubic arch that a female has, the legs of a female need to do two things, which the male legs don't do. The female legs need to come inwards in the step, and forward at the same time. So they're doing two things, coming inwards and forwards. So because of the wide pubic arch and the female trying to move her leg into a line with the body, of stepping in forwards and inwards, it causes the hips to swing from side to side. So it causes like a woman to walk like she's catwalking. That's the best way I can explain it. So this makes the woman lean all the weight of the body into the leg that's in front of her. When males walk, because they don't have a wide pubic arch, their arches is just normal. What a man does is that he leans the weight of the body into the leg that's behind him, so he doesn't catwalk. while a female leans it into the weight that's in front of her because the pubic arch is too wide and the legs need to come inwards into the body, right, and forward at the same time, causing that catwalk. So you can see right here, when a female walks, the legs, one leg is almost going to be directly in front, in line with the leg that's behind. All right, if you draw a line, it's going to be almost in front. With males, it's not the same. The legs just go one way and just land wherever they want because the whole weight of the body is balanced. So the man doesn't need to do that. So in Justin Trudeau's case, he's walking like a female, trying to catwalk and trying to tell you that he's a man when he's actually female. All right. Another picture of Justin Trudeau. You can see right here when he's running that he has an arch in that back. You can see how the clothes cover follow the contours of the body on the back because he's 100% female and was never a man in the first place. You can see that arch right there. All right. Let's go to another picture of Justin Trudeau, and Justin Trudeau still running. I want you to notice the difference between how a woman runs and how a man runs. Can you see the difference right there? The legs are still doing the same thing. He's leaning all the weight into this leg. As you can see, this man, the way he's running like he's leaning back, and this one runs like he's leaning forward. I want you guys to notice the difference. When a man runs, because the weight of the body is going to be on the leg that's behind, so he's leaning back. The weight of the body is in front of the leg, so that's why he's leaning forward. So that's how the sexes run on male and female, because of the wide pubic arch. So I want you guys to notice that. But all the same, the Q angle here is screaming all day. Let me try to blow this up as much as I can. Let me see if I can do that. It's trying to show you all day that you're looking at a woman. The Q angle is below the crotch because Justin Trudeau is 100% female. Let's go to another picture. We already showed you that one. Here's the same picture again, and still the same thing. So I want you to know this one is clear enough so you can see that the way he's running, he's leaning the weight forward into the leg that's in front, while this man is still running like he's leaning backward almost straight, because this is a man and this is a woman, and the Q angle doesn't lie. It's screaming all day. It's very, very cute. It's below the crotch, and he's saying, I am a woman. All right, another picture of Justin Trudeau. You can see the Q angle here doesn't lie all day. It's below the crotch, and he's spreading wider, getting wider and wider, and the widest point right there is below the crotch from where his Q angle starts, because Justin Trudeau is 100% female and was never a man. We already showed you this picture. The one wasn't clear, but we just want to show you how curvaceous those thighs are, that those are the thighs of a female, and the way he's sitting, because he sits like a female and he's one, while Donald Trump right here sits like a man. You know, see how the way the knees look and everything else, and see how curvaceous the thighs of Justin Trudeau is. All right, another picture, Justin Trudeau. We just wanted to show you that he has that hourglass figure as he curves and curves and curves, and even the arms just can't hide the hips, the huge hips that Justin Trudeau has. Okay. Let's go to another picture, and this is them as a couple. This is male and this is female. So like I've said, send us an email and let's figure it out who you think. All right, if you're gonna leave a name in the comment section, you have to provide pictures of any of the presidents of this world whom you think is not the sex and gender they claim. Otherwise, it's going to be constituted as slander and will block you from leaving comments on there. So remember that. So let's move on to the next picture of Justin Trudeau. So here is another picture of Justin Trudeau, as you can see, with the man that I want you guys to notice the difference between the two. Here is a man putting his hand on his waist, which is going to be below his navel. All right, men put their hands below the navel because that's where a man's waist is at. And here is Justin Trudeau, and where those are Justin Trudeau's hands? Above his navel. See the difference? Above the navel, below the navel. Man. Above the navel, female, 100% female, arch in the back. Right there, as you can see right there, because Justin Trudeau is all woman. All right, another picture. We already showed you this one. Here is Justin Trudeau. I think we already showed you that one again. Let's see. And this is Justin Trudeau from the back. As you can see, he starts like a female usually does. It starts getting wider from the back all the way down. because Justin Trudeau is 100% woman. And this was with Justin Trudeau. I think he was at some sort of maybe pride parade or whatever in Canada. I don't know, but that's what it is. But Justin Trudeau again, the hips do not lie, screaming all day. It's below the crotch because I am 100% female, Justin Trudeau says. Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada, is a woman. I'm going to show you that picture. Same picture again. Just wanted you to see how curvaceous those hips are because he's 100% female, a puppet of the Vatican. And we'll read some things from Justin Trudeau's page for you because I think that's the end of the picture that we have. We have a lot of pictures, but let's just go over and read some things from his wiki page so you can actually see that the Vatican Code of Number applies to all of the Vatican's puppets which they use to run the world and to paint this false reality that they've given to us. So let's do that. So we're on the wiki page of Justin Trudeau. If you've heard me, if you're a new subscriber and you hear me say the Vatican Code of Numbers, we have a playlist called Vatican Code of Numbers. If you really want to know what I'm talking about, look for the playlist called Vatican Code of Numbers and go watch the video. You look for the Lisa Lobos video. With any video on this channel, to every subscriber, please download it, save it, re-upload. Spread the news. Tell people about it so they can come into the light of the truth and stop being deceived by the world that the Vatican has constructed for us, far from the reality that God made this world to be. We put all this information in the book for you. So if you're interested in the book, like we said, send us an email. Subscribe to the second channel on Tricks of the S-Trade 2 in case this one goes down because the Vatican is trying to shut us down, so that we can keep the information alive and keep spreading the truth around to everybody who is interested in the truth. So, like I've said before, if you're interested in hearing about the Vatican Code of Numbers, which I'm talking about right now on this Justin Trudeau page, just go to the channel and look for the video called Vatican Code of Numbers. Download, re-upload, save the video, do whatever you want to do with it, but spread the truth and let people know about the reality of this world. So it says here, Justin James Trudeau, born December 25th, 1971. The Vatican Code of Numbers is at work December 12th, a multiple of 3. It could be that he was never born on December, in the month of December, all right? But because there's a spiritual connotation to all these transgenders, because there are sacrifices, some sort of sacrifice. We put all the information in the book. If you're interested in knowing, send us an email, all right, with the title book, so we can put you on the email list and print a copy specifically for the number of emails that we receive. It says, is a Canadian politician serving as the 23rd current Prime Minister of Canada since 2015. 23. That means just 3-3. A 33-degree Freemason, which means that he is talking with the Vatican, because all 33-degree Freemasons are either Jesuits to the Vatican. That's just fact. All right? They are serving the Vatican. All Freemasons run under the Vatican. So it says he started serving in 2015. The Vatican Code of Numbers is right there at work. 1 and 5, 6. He says, and he was the leader of the Liberal Party since 2013. The Vatican Code of Numbers is at work. You can go through this page and it's littered with so much stuff about this Vatican Code of Numbers and Justin Trudeau. But the most important part that I want to read besides that is about his early life. So let's go scroll into the web page to find his early life here and just read something that is interesting that you should maybe a notice about Justin Trudeau. Let's see if we can find the early life in the page. Okay, personal life, right? I wanted to read about personal life. He said Trudeau first met Sophie Gregoire. That means Sophie Trudeau's current wife, when they were both children growing up in Montreal. Gregoire was a classmate and childhood friend of Trudeau's youngest brother, Michel. They connected as adults in 2003. A Vatican Code of Numbers is at work. June 2003, 6 and 2003. When Gregoire, then by then a Quebec television personality, was assigned as Trudeau's co-host for a charity ball that began 37 months, Trudeau and Gregoire became engaged in 2004, married on May 28, 2005 in a Roman Catholic church ceremony at Montreal Saint Madeleine d'Outre-Mer Church. That's what I wanted you guys to note. They just put the final nail in the coffin just to let you know that they are Roman Catholic and that the Vatican runs our world. All right, so that's what I wanted you guys to take notice of and know. So if you've learned something, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the backup channel in case the Vatican shuts us down. It's Tricks of the S Trade 2. Just type it into your YouTube search, and that will come up when you subscribe. And if you're interested in the book, send us an email with the title book. Our email is the same as the channel name at gmail.com. And keep your eyes open, and keep your brain sharp, all right? And I leave you with these words: look with your eyes, but see with your brain. Thanks, and bye-bye.